Recording. Okay, go.
We'll call the meeting to order for Wednesday, March 24th, 2023. Roll call of members, please.
Jenneru.
Here.
Leaders.
Here.
Kai.
Here.
Herder. Here. Anderson.
Here.
Next, if you've had a chance to read the minutes, is there a motion to approve the minutes or make corrections?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Motion carried. Now I'll read our statement of how the meeting will be ran. Public hearing will be conducted pursuant to the board's rules of procedure as adopted May 26, 1988. We will first hear the report of the planning director on the detailed information and observations regarding the request, if not done so in written form prior to the hearing. Next, we will take the testimony of the applicant and his or her witnesses. Upon completion of the applicant's testimony, I'll call upon members of the audience wishing to make a statement concerning the request. Persons in favor of the request shall be heard first, followed by those who oppose it. At any time during the presentation of testimony, members of the board may interrupt to ask questions or make comments on what has been said. Upon completion of all testimony, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement. Upon completion of the applicant's closing statement, we will then hear the recommendation, if any, of the planning director, and upon completion of all discussion, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the request. After the public hearing has been closed, I will entertain a motion from the members of the board regarding the disposition of the application. Each speaker addressing the board shall step forward to the podium, state their name and address before proceeding with their testimony or evidence. I would ask that you spell your last name. This board shall not be bound by strict rules of evidence, but does reserve the right to exclude evidence or testimony that may deem to be irrelevant, immaterial, incompetent, or unduly repetitious. As chairman, I will rule on all questions relating to the admissibility of evidence which may be overruled by the majority of the board. The board may grant continuances in case for good cause shown to any interested party who has entered his appearance. The board may, at any time, request a continuance of a hearing for the purpose of giving further notice, taking further evidence, gathering further information, touring the proposed site, or for other such reasons the board may find sufficient. In such case, we shall state the specific reasons for the continuance and set a date, time, and place when the matter will be continued. All official actions of this board will be made at public hearing by motion made, seconded, and polling of the membership. If conditions are imposed, such conditions shall be included in the motion or amended hereto. Our final decision will be prepared in writing and will be part of the public record of this board. Once this board has reached a decision on a case, that decision shall be final. Section 335.18 of the Iowa Code states, any person or persons, jointly or severally, aggravated by any decision of the Board of Adjustment under the provisions of Chapter 335, or any taxpayer, any officer, department, board, or bureau of the county may present to the court a record of petition, duly verified, setting forth that such decision was illegal in whole or in part, specifying the grounds of the legality. Such petition shall be presented to the court within 30 days after the filing of the decision of the office of the board. Upon hearing that, I would ask for a motion to open the public hearing on case CU-2023-03, Jeremy Lee.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Motion carried. Public hearing is open. Jeremy, if you'd like to come up to the podium and kind of tell us what your plans are, and we'll go from there.
So I've been breeding fully breeds since I was 20 years old, so for 23 years. I started out with English Bulldogs, and I went to Pit Bulls. And then
Can you have him
Say his name.
state his name? and
Jeremy
address?
Lee.
All right.
All right.
L-E-E, is that right? Okay.
Correct.
Address.
16733 Whippoorwill Road, Honey Creek, Iowa, 51542.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And then 14 years ago, I started owning a Lapdog Bulldogs. They're a rare breed. They're not recognized by the AKC. There has to be a certain amount of dogs with consistent traits to be recognized by the AKC. In my 14 years, I've noticed that there's a lot of people that aren't transparent on how their puppies are raised or how things are, their program is put together. So what I am here for is to be able to open a commercial site adjoined to my home that I will have to breed, show, and raise, train Lapland Bulldogs. There was a need for transparency. Like, these Bulldogs show up and people like, oh, these are the mom and dad, but until they're 8 weeks, they're just, you don't know how these dogs are brought up. And I've gained dogs over the years, and we use Ring cameras, and from the day they're born to the day they leave, it's a 24/7 live cam, so everybody can kind of see how dogs are raised and interacted and all the socialization stuff we do. Currently, what I'm looking for is a 20 by 24 building. It'll house 6 dogs. It'll have 6 kennels in it. 4 of them will be 4 by 6 for single dogs. We'll have one 6 by 8 for a whelping box for puppies, and then I have a 6 by 6 for like my bigger males. All kennels will be indoor, outdoor with thermal insulated gun dog doors, which are top of the best ones that are out there. I have no windows on the north side. I'll have closed cell insulation on the north side, and then R30 insulation around the whole thing. I do have underfloor heat and the whole thing, so I would plan on doing a closed loop system with glycol. Will help heat it through the floor. Also have a split unit that's rated at, I think, 24,000. I upsized it, so I know it's twice as big as what the space is. That does heating and cooling. I have windows in each kennel, with the exception of the one 6 by 6 because it faces to the north and doesn't share another common wall. There'll be a 12 by 18 common area in the middle. There are currently floor drains that are built into the concrete. They are capped and sealed in the actual foundation pour and flagged off for a later date, because I can't do all of it at once, right? I can't, the septic has to be separate from my house, and it's gonna cost about an additional $6,000 for me to do it. So I made provisions for it, but I don't have, it's not accessible. Currently, as far as waste removal, we use compost, and then I have a commercial floor vacuum for all the urine, right? We do plan on, all of our dogs get rotated through the house. They don't live in kennels. So currently what we have is we have 2 males and we have 4 girls, and 1 girl's retired. We're getting ready to retire another one. The boys can be out with, 1 boy can be out with all the girls. All the girls can be out together, but the 2 boys, they can't be together. So we kind of rotate the boys around, and currently everybody's in the house, and we have 5 out at a time. And then 1 boy, or sometimes we'll put another girl downstairs with him so that way he's not by himself. But we started to show 2 years ago. We built our breeding program over the last 14 years, and I've gotten dogs from Texas, Arkansas, California, Pittsburgh. Over the years, we are in our 2nd generation of our own breeding program. Last year, we won the National Grand Champion Puppy and Reserve National Grand Champion Puppy for our registry. We took 3rd overall in adult females and 3rd overall in adult males. My daughter's 13, she'll be 14 in August. In 2021, she won the Beginners Handlers National Champion. Last year she turned 13, which bumped her up to the junior bracket, which made her the youngest kid on the field showing. She's trained her dog from start to finish. It's totally her dog. So last year she ended up at 13. She won a national grand championship for junior handlers as well. So she's won back-to-back 2 years in a row. We went up to Montana, and we swept the Northwest regionals with the 2nd and 3rd highest point getting dogs. So we've done our homework. We do train. We're not like a a puppy mill type thing, and that's what the stigma of bully breeds, that's what why I'm trying to do what I'm doing,
Okay.
so.
So do you have, like the 6 dogs you'll have on there, are they, is that your whole breeding program then? So you don't bring like a dog in for a couple weeks or something? Okay.
Everything's closed because we do, so for our registry, I have to do, for, DDC is a genetic testing agency that my registry uses, right? So I have to DDC register all of my dogs in order to prove that to our board that I'm not outcrossing and that everything in my program is in a lap off. And because they're rare breed, people like to kind of sometimes pull in a different breed. So I do that DNA test, and then secondary we do a genetic inherited traits DNA test from Embark, which tests for 244 genetic faults that can be passed down. So I don't use dogs outside of my program because unless I could find potentially somebody that does the same amount of testing I do.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed about Iowa being one of the worst puppy mill states in the country, and this kind of facility gives us a better name.
And I'm the only registered lap bulldog breeder in the Midwest area. Not 4 or 5 states. We're the only ones. So we're trying to do it the right way.
So I just kind of a general question. So if you have 2 litters, how many puppies do the litter normally have? It's like a general number.
Well, I've had litters. So I had litters of 2.
Right.
And then my last one was 10. So,
Oh my God.
Somewhere between 2 and 10, I guess, right?
Yeah.
They're little.
I would say the average is probably 4 to 6.
Okay.
So I breed, my females only get bred 3 times. And then they're retired.
Okay.
Because it's hard on them. It's not, that's not what they're made for.
Okay.
Right? So, and if they don't pass their genetic testing, then we fix them and we sell them as pets.
Okay.
We've had a closed loop system for 3 years, so I don't have any real issues with it.
All right. Well, anybody else have any questions?
So you've been doing this for a while.
I have.
Why now come for a?
Because we moved. I used to live in Omaha, and we lived in town, and the neighborhood. So I grew up in Council Bluffs. My wife's from Omaha. We moved to Omaha. The neighborhood started to go downhill, and I was like, let's get kids out to the country. So I have 12, and my daughter will be 14. And so we moved out there. The Alapaws have always kind of been, I've always had one. We moved out there, and my daughter got older, and she started by showing pygmy goats for 4-H, and that led to like, hey, why don't we try to show your dogs, Dad? So we kept a puppy out of like our 2 first dogs and started from there. And so she's kind of the driving force that's what she likes to do. So we travel the country and show these dogs.
And how good for her.
And she's really good. And when we went to Montana, it was really good for her because she's starting to establish a name for herself because she does so well at positioning them that she's had people approach her and be like, hey, could we pay you to show our dog at nationals? So it's been a really good thing for the whole family.
Good for her.
So.
Thank you.
All right, if anybody else has any questions, I think you can have a seat if you'd like. And
Perfect.
At this point, I'd ask if anyone wants to step forward who's in favor. Anybody against? Now, as no more questions from the board, I guess I'd ask for the staff's recommendation.
Okay, based on the information, the planning department recommendation is to approve based on the following conditions. The applicant shall secure a license from the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship prior to opening the kennel. The owner shall follow a manure plan. The number of adult dogs and litters per year shall be limited to what was submitted with the application. Signage, if proposed, shall be required to comply with Chapter 8.090.03, 0.06, The applicant shall secure permit approval from the county building code division to ensure that the structure complies with the Pottawattamie County, Iowa building codes. The applicant shall secure permit approval through the county environmental health division for the septic system and install system prior to use of structure, which I believe you had indicated in your proposal, correct?
Indicated what?
That you would install the septic system prior to using the structure.
That was not my original plan.
Okay, I thought that's what was presented, but then when you were speaking, that's what, then I didn't think that is what you said. So we might have to revise that. But let me finish and then I'll go back through it.
Okay.
The applicant will bring dogs inside if barking becomes a nuisance. And that's based on the following findings of fact. The subject property is located in the A4 Loess Hills District, the county's zoning ordinance, which is adopted in conjunction with the land use plan, stipulates that the proposed land use is a permitted conditional use in the A4 district. The subject property is located in an area which consists primarily of ag, large rural acreages, and timber land uses. The kennel is not foreseen to have any negative impact on area properties. The existing road system is adequate to accommodate this activity. The aforementioned conditions will minimize any potential adverse impact on adjoining properties. Okay, so I guess based on what Mr. Lee presented as far as his septic system plan, would you be okay still approving it, but with, amending the conditions, I guess?
The septic part is really not up to us, right? That's environmental health and buildings that
It is, I just didn't, as long as he has a decent manure management plan or a,
I don't see an issue.
yeah, I mean, he said he has the drains there, it's just tapped off and then he'll use the commercial vacuum, right? So, I guess we can, revise that.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Public hearing is now closed. Is there any other discussion from board members on anything? If not, there, someone make a motion to approve or deny.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
It's moved in second.
So did you want to take out that condition
Yeah.
of the
Amend the
just
conditions.
strike it completely,
Okay.
right? Is that what
Yep, that
the
sounds.
vote, or the, okay. All right, roll call.
Roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Herder,
Yes.
Genereux,
Yes.
Kai,
Yes.
Leaders.
Yes.
Your motion has been approved, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time tonight coming in.
Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it.
And do you have a picture of these dogs?
Oh, I got tons of
Oh,
pictures.
okay.
Do we have any other business?
We do not.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor,
Meeting
stand
adjourned.
lead.
So nothing,
Don't forget.